Okay, good evening. Tonight's Finance Committee meeting. Can I have a call to order and roll call, please?
Mr. Michelson,
Here.
Ms. Chesser.
Yep.
Mr. Fisher is absent, and Mr. Dahl.
Yeah. Great. All right, so we need to set the agenda and adopt it. So sorry, Darren, I didn't realize you were still on the committee, so I did email you last week when I sent out my agenda items. When I hopefully you saw my email, you were able to see what I intended to put on the agenda, and the agenda was posted. So does anyone have any amendments to the agenda?
I think there was one item you wanted me to add. I didn't have a chance to put it on yet. That was the discussion of appropriations.
That you reached out to me about?
Yeah, so that's gonna be for CyberClan, for data mining, and carryover POs. Okay.
So let's add that, just
So
the
I just
last
put-
thing in new business.
Exactly.
Okay, can I have is there a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
Motion approved.
Make the motion.
Aye.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor, I'll take that as unanimous. All right, so we have our agenda. No one's registered to address the committee tonight. Let's look at our minutes from the last meeting. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from the last meeting? No. Darren, do you have anything to
No.
change in it?
No questions.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 20th
Packet.
packet. No, the agenda from
Oh, go.
the minutes. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay, that's unanimous. The minutes from the January 22nd meeting are approved. All righty, on to tonight's new business. There's a couple items on tonight's agenda. It's mainly going to be conversation-based. A few of the items I think deserve not just our consideration, but consideration of executive committee, and I'd love to get the other members of council's input on them. So tonight, we're just going to start that conversation and probably kick some of these things over to the executive for them to continue the discussion, and hopefully we will all come back together in full council. So the first item of new business is compensation for employees filling vacant roles. So let me just find my email here so I have it. There we go. So as we all know, we've had a number of positions become vacant over the years. We've had a chief of police who, currently we don't have a chief of police, but also we had a chief of police who was on leave for multiple months, and Captain Reed stepped in to help fill that role. We currently have no administrator, and for some time, Eric helped pick up some of those duties, and currently the mayor's picking up some of those duties. I know we've had Renee pick up some duties. There's been a lot of transition in our government, and a lot of people picking up extra roles. So, and one thing we've noticed is a lot of times we do provide additional compensation, but it's not always timely. A lot of times it's months late, a year late. No one likes backdating pay. It's actually something I hate doing. I hate backdating pay. I only want to look forward. I don't want to keep looking back forever. So we started a conversation around compensation for employees filling vacant roles. I had briefly had a little bit of a back and forth with the mayor, kind of bouncing some ideas for how we could solve this. So what I had initially thought was, and feel free to stop me, ask questions. I don't want this just to be monologuing to the two of you. I was thinking that I think we should put it in legislation as an ordinance that very broadly, when a salaried employee is filling another salaried employee's role, that they automatically get some sort of compensation benefit for that. I want it to be standard. I want it to be the same, calculation, no matter who it is. So that way, say Eric is picking up some duties, he's being compensated one way. Captain Reed is picking up duties, he's being compensated another way. It's not good for morale. It's not good for, people can claim favoritism, and we don't want any. I just like standard. This is how it's done. We don't have to think. It's ready to go. So what I had initially proposed as the very broad framework was that whichever position is being filled, we take, what was my calculation? I think it was a quarter. So we would take a quarter of the vacant position salary, and that would be applied as a bonus to the person filling that role. So just an easy example, say the chief of police is missing. Say we don't have a chief of police and the captain is filling. Say the chief of police's salary is $100,000 a year. If Captain Reed were to fill that role for a whole year while we're figuring it out, he would be entitled to a $25,000 bonus over that year. The way I was thinking about it would be these bonuses would be paid out in the pay period, so that way we're not waiting. And that way we can kind of subdivide it to the smallest units possible. So that way if they're only working a week, they get a week's bonus. If they're working a month, they get a month's worth of bonus. Very broadly, that was kind of the structure I had thought about. The mayor brought up additional questions, like if someone is picking up some duties, but not all the duties. Renee's maybe picked up some extra duties and some extra responsibilities while we're short-staffed. That isn't really the entirety of a position, but is extra responsibility. That's where I kind of am coming to you guys and also my executive's fine. I'm not exactly sure how we calculate that, because it's easy if you're taking over the entire role. It's easy if Captain Reed is filling for the entire role of the chief of police. It's a lot harder when it's very select responsibilities that are applied. So that's something I was hoping we could discuss a little bit tonight. It's just the start of the conversation, just bringing it up here. Additionally, I talked with Mr. Fisher a little bit about this. He thinks, which I disagree a little bit, he would like this to be voted on every month. So he would like every month for the council to approve the bonus.
That's too much.
Yeah, I agree, Gwen.
That's too much.
I think the whole idea is to be set it and forget it. You don't need council approving. I could see something where council approves them filling the role, but I don't want to approve the pay every month.
Right.
Okay, that's too much. Maybe a reaffirmation of them filling the role. I'm not sure, but that's something else we could.
I feel like there'd be too many opportunities for it to fall off the agenda or just to kind of bog it down. But it seems like we're in agreement. It should be something that's standard moving forward, that who knows what happens in the future and you lose someone in a role. There's a system in place that kicks in and everyone kind of knows. I mean, we've all been in the corporate world. Someone leaves, duties get spread out. No one ever gets more pay.
Yeah,
That's just the way that works here. But
and everyone's resentful.
correct, but there's always a system in play. There has to be continuity.
Yeah,
If something's going to get bogged down, it's just going to,
yeah.
it plays badly on everyone. So yeah, no,
Right.
100%. Let's put it into a system.
Yeah, so I know the mayor had added that when someone's picking up partial roles, that maybe it might be something like, if I can find your email here, I think it was an eighth, was it an eighth?
I said a sixth or an eighth, more or less. My idea was that whenever someone's taking on more responsibilities, it'd be really nice if they had someone designated as their assistant, right? And be able to compensate that person just as to help things so I wasn't thinking, and I conceded that, yeah, just like in the corporate world, it gets dispersed between tons of people. That's just the way that it happens. everybody gets resentful about it and everything. So I was just trying to think creatively, is there a way for us to build in something where we say, and this is that person's assistant. And that assistant's gonna get extra as well during that period of time. And the amount, I don't know. I'm just putting it out there as an idea.
I agree that, you know, people that pick up extra duties should get extra compensation. I think we need more discussion and thought on it. Honestly, I haven't thought much since we had a conversation about it. But I would, you know, we're not gonna come to a firm conclusion tonight. I think if we set the broad expectation that this is something we wanna put in place, Eric, I hope you're taking bullet point notes maybe. That way we can forward that to executive and say, this is the broad topic we're talking about. We broadly agree that, you know, I don't know if we probably agree that a quarter of the salary is the right amount if someone's filling a role, but it'd be a standard percentage amount. And that there should be some sort of additional bonus for people who aren't picking up entire roles. And I think, you know, if you guys have more to add on that, I would love to hear that tonight. If not, we can kick it over to executive and just continue the conversation.
Take it over. That's confusing.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
So I'll make a motion that we,
Okay, ask a quick question. As someone that falls into this right now, does this fit well with you? As an example of someone that's actually,
So it's
reading it?
twofold. So for me, my job description says, so let's say, for example, the chief police goes on vacation for 2 weeks. This wouldn't kick in, right? Because my job description states that in the absence of the police chief, I am the acting chief. So I think where it kicks in, and I think you already mentioned it, like Chief Campbell was out for like 18 months. So I think there has to be a metric put into place to say, when does this begin? It kind of talks about, like you were saying with the ancillary duties, like if I'm taking on, you know, 2 additional tasks that I don't really do, I would argue, is that even grounds for compensation? I think not, unless there is an extended amount of time. But I think the bigger question then becomes, why is that person having to take on the additional duties? And that's a conversation for another day. But I do think that your system is a great idea. I think that's fair. I think it's more than fair, really. What I look at when you think about additional compensation is, you know, do you give them like $1 more an hour while they fill the role in a temporary position, or you just take it away? What's easiest and what's cleaner, and, you know, I went to public school, so I like easy math. So, I mean, just something like that, I think is, hey, I acknowledge, recognize that you're taking on the extra responsibility. Thank you, right? You know, you don't, I shouldn't say you don't have to, because, you know, that's your job, but, you know, we acknowledge, we want to commend you for that. So I think just that example, I wouldn't expect $25,000 for filling in from chief police for a year. I mean, that's more than gracious. I just think that some type of acknowledgement of, hey, you're taking on extra duties, you know, even if it was 75 cents an hour more, it is something. So, yeah, I think that's fair. And I mean, I look at it from an aspect of the money is already allocated because we would have been paying it anyway.
exactly. It's still a savings.
Yeah, you're definitely.
Not that we're
saving.
trying to save money, right?
Right.
We want these roles filled. So I agree that there should also be a minimum threshold.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, you know, oh, I don't know what people do around here really.
Yeah, I mean, if you get like, you know, I get my appendix taken out, I'm gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, do we need to convene council to have votes and everything, so the person will be back by the time?
Yeah, I
Right.
see something like if they're, like, especially when it comes to police, like if they're on leave.
Yeah.
Leave is a specific threshold that's like, you're on leave, you're out for a certain amount of time because if the chief of police is on vacation, we can still call a chief of police.
Yes. Yes.
And he still has some responsibility to the village. If you're on leave, you have no responsibility to the village. So,
we're in agreement of a system being put in that it's not going to be voted on it needs to be something that's seamless and calculated.
yes, I think we're in agreement that it needs to be something that's automatic, a firm calculation that is the same for everyone. The dollar amounts might not be same for everyone based off the roles, but that you would be able to plug it into a calculator and figure out what your bonus would be. So I don't know if we even need a motion to send this to finance. Do we need a motion to recommend it to send to executive?
I mean, not necessarily, but again, I don't know what the motion is yet, just to discuss.
Hey Ben, great timing. If we have a topic that we want to kick over to executive for additional conversation, there's no motion that's necessary to say, hey, could you put this on your agenda?
Motions are only needed for like formal actions.
Yeah. All right, so,
So you could make a request that I can put in the notes.
yeah,
The-
so please request, executive to look into this. I also think that broadly speaking, we agree that executive should be the place to start legislations. So that would be the best place to start. And I'll also email Brittany to let her know as well. All right, next, I'm gonna move kind of quick because we have 10 minutes here. Next topic, purchase of tech equipment for council members. Councilmember Brittany Kramer approached me that she would like to see council be supplied with some sort of technology. I think she mentioned iPads, so that we would have access to emails and not on our personal devices. I'm open to discussion about that. I don't think we need that, and if Councilmember Kramer would like a separate device for, to separate her personal and her professional work, I think that's something, we can all do on our own. I don't think it's necessarily the village's responsibility to supply that, especially because every cycle of council, we'd have to buy new ones because technology gets old. I guess the plan that Eric had looked at with T-Mobile, I think it was, or Verizon.
So I have a couple of quotes there. I can
Couple
discuss that
quotes.
if you want, but that's,
If the rest of the council committee wants to hear it, I'm open to that, but.
Are you talking about cell phones now, or just an
it'd be
iPad
like
with
that,
a
it would be
data,
an iPad with
the data plan?
a data plan, exactly.
Yeah, if we were even to go the iPad route, I wouldn't even be for the data plan, you can hop on Wi-Fi. Like, I don't wanna pay monthly for council to have iPads that are just gonna sit around for most of the month and not be used.
Well, so again, I can go into that if you all want to hear about it, otherwise, again, it's really, it's your committee.
I'm open to, would you guys like to hear the information that?
I already have one through Gulf Manor.
Oh, perfect.
You have advanced.
This year.
Oh, so it seems like it could be a,
So it seems like, are there other
A
devices
person by
available
person.
that we have?
This was purchased, Mr. Hurth purchased this device, as I recall.
Yeah, I had been asked and I approved that if anybody needs one, that we'll go ahead and we'll provide a device for them. In terms of a specific policy around it, I don't think it's been codified.
Yeah, I don't want to pass any legislation. The mayor and future administrator have authority to spend up to, $50,000 without asking anyone if they feel they want to supply council or any other employee with extra tech equipment.
it seems like we have a
Fine with them
policy in
making that
place,
decision.
should someone need that pathway.
Yeah, I don't think we need to pass legislation on it or add it to appropriations. If the mayor and the administrator want to do that, it's within their authority to do that. Are you guys cool with that?
That sounds good.
Right.
Okay, great. Next topic. Monthly review of departmental appropriations. So this is something I talked to Eric about. I'm not sure we'll have.
So I can go through this very
time to do it.
quickly. I mean, again, I don't, the detail that I can provide, I can provide an enormous amount of detail. But just to give you all a rough estimate of where we're at.
So can I get background on what this was?
Please, yes,
So
absolutely.
the idea behind this was, Brittany had brought up amazing points about, where we are in our budget, getting our budget by department, being able to see all that. I thought it would be good to kind of throughout the year, track where each department is in appropriations. Not to say, hey, you're spending too much or, spending too little. I'll never say you're spending too little. Spend less always. But to know, are we on point with where we need to be in appropriations? Are we typically overspending our appropriations month over month? Are we, and that would lead to more conversations of maybe we need to look at how we spend and what our spending policies are, or maybe we need to look at how we appropriate and plan for future years. So I asked Eric if that information was available, and it is available, that we can be presented just some quick numbers of roughly, not exactly, but roughly what percentage of appropriations each department should spend through the course of the year and where we currently are in that spend.
Yeah, so just to give you an idea, there are two numbers that we deal with. Typically, it's we are in the months. So we're in February, obviously. So 2 out of 12 months is going to be a higher number than payroll 3, which is 3 out of 26. For the months, the percentage we would want to be under is 16 and 3 2/3.
Do you have this pulled up, and would you be able to put it on the TV?
Yes.
Your remote's right there.
Okay, and I need that quarter.
If not,
Do it.
I don't think it's a huge deal.
Sorry, man, I'm gonna reach over you with this board. Thank you. That would be awesome. Thank you.
So I think it's good to have the visual of it.
So these are just my minutes for now, so we can just look at this for now, but I can give you more detail. So the monthly number that we want to be under is 16 2/3. The payroll number, because we were at payroll 3 by the last appropriation report, was 3 out of 26 because we pay bi-weekly. So we want to be 2 out of 26, which is 3 out of 26, which is 11.5% approximately. So currently the admin and clerk budgets together are at 14.1%, which is about where we should be because there are certain expenses that are going to be more than just the payroll. That's going to be those monthly expenses, which brings us up, a little bit higher than that 11.5. There are a lot of carryover POs, and just to explain how this works, and I think there was some confusion about this last year as well, was just because we have a carryover PO doesn't mean that the appropriations are increased for the current year. So for instance, there was a significant purchase which we somehow did not get an invoice for, which Captain Reed pointed out to me that apparently the invoice should have been brought to us earlier, but in any case, that invoice should have been paid in 25. So that money was encumbered in 25, and we had appropriated that same amount of money and more for different projects in 26. That money is now not going to be available for us because the purchase didn't go through in 25. So there are other items in the admin and clerk which have not been paid. So that money is encumbered and the money is available. But again, that's going to show as a higher number in general of appropriation of what appropriations are available. It does not reflect an appropriation spent until the money is actually spent. For the police, so total police budget is under both the monthly and payroll 3. That means that we're doing very well. Again, if you want to know where the staffing is compared to the other expenditures, that's much more granular. I'm not going into that now, but it's stuff that I can do. And then with service, so service is obviously significantly higher, and that's mostly driven by the intersection project, which we just paid a $250,000 bill for. So you can imagine $250,000 out of the budget, which is just over $1 million. That's going to put you over that 21%. So there's nothing to be concerned about with the 21% over 16 or 11.5. The other things to be aware of, again, the big monthly purchases are the OPERs. So those are going to be already 2, one for January, one for February. And same thing with Rumpke. That's a monthly expense in the insurance, right? The health insurance for village employees is a monthly expense. So those are always going to drive up costs. They'll drive up appropriations, and they're going to bring them closer to that monthly 16 2/3. So just to give you an idea of where we are, in my opinion, we're in a very good place. I think that there's a lot of spend control that is extant in both police department, search department, and administration. But just to give you that broader overview.
Great. So this was a lot of quick information. I'm hoping in less jam-packed agendas, we could spend more time to actually gain a fuller understanding. Very simply, pretty much every department currently is either right at or under where we would expect spending to be, with service being a little bit higher due to the intersection, and I assume also additional time and payroll for people with the big storm insulting.
Yeah, that's a small piece, but that
It adds up over time.
Right, but this early in the year, that's not going to be the determining factor. The big piece is that $248,000 check that we cut to Danville, and that's this first item here. I mean, that's a huge chunk of their budget.
Thank you. So this was the first time we're seeing this. I'm hoping in future meetings we'll revisit this every month, kind of track where our spending is, and we'll gain a better understanding of both our spending cycles for each department and just where we are. Do we need to adjust appropriations? Do we need to have budget conversations, et cetera? Okay, finance packet and year end.
So we definitely don't have time to go through that tonight. That
Go
will be
through
a
it
discussion. Well, I'm sorry?
Should we go through it in full council?
So we won't have a chance to put it, I was not able to finish that for December anyway. I mean, I have the raw numbers. I was not able to put together the report today. There's a lot to do for year end, and typically the December packet doesn't come out until we close out. With all of the events of the last couple of weeks, I'm definitely a little bit behind on year end, but we have a deadline there that March 1st, we can no longer use our accounting software if we have not finished that. So I will be finishing that in the next week, probably this week.
So we'll go over the packet at the next meeting.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then in terms of
And
the,
the final item is that you
yeah, So-
work on.
so CyberPlan is the company that the insurance company put us in touch with to take care of the security, the cybersecurity breach that the village experienced. They are a private company, they're like everybody else, and they need to be paid. The way that our insurance policy works is that we have to front the money, we have to pay the bill first, and then they will reimburse us. So it's layers and layers of insurance companies. Our insurance company is Highland. Highland has their own insurance policy with companies like Tokyo Marin is what it's called. And basically Tokyo Marin will pay us back once we have paid for these bills. So in the next council meeting, I'll be requesting an amendment to appropriations in the amount of about $200,000, which will mostly, if not all, be recompensed. It's about $103,000 for CyberPlan. Baker Hostetler is the law firm that we work with. That was about $30,000. There's a data mining company, which is about $12,000. I mean, the bills are certainly quite high for that, but again, that's not a cost to the village. Those are just the remediation and all of the steps that were required in order to deal with the breach incident.
So simply, we have to pay this money up front.
I mean, yeah,
It will be.
the services have already been received, but yeah, exactly. We will have to pay it, and then we will be reimbursed for it. So that will be a request on the next council meeting, which again, I will not.
Tonight or?
No, that'll be in a month. I only got invoices. I mean, Steph and I think you saw some of these, we just got some of these invoices in the last couple of weeks, and in the last couple of days even. So it was like, I kind of want to have the full number first, so we don't have to do this again. But yeah, so that'll be, again, I don't think that's super time sensitive. They're not going to put us into collections, but we just want to have that number very clear, and have that done. So again, I will not be at the next council meeting, on the 17th of March, but that will be on the agenda for that time.
All right, so, yeah, does anyone have any questions on that we want to discuss? Do you guys have any questions or anything you want to, I don't want this, like I said, to just be me monologuing for a half hour every month. I end up doing a lot of that tonight. Is there anything that you guys feel needs to be brought up or discussed before we close the meeting?
Nope.
Great, so I'll make a
Hey,
motion.
Just want to give you a heads up. I don't know if our department head, Jim Putoff, has reached out to you or not. He's also wants to have some input on pay ordinance in terms of there's some discrepancies in our ordinance where the leads on the maintenance team their starting salary is lower than what the support guys' starting salary is. And it also caps out less than if you do if you do a survey of other villages our size, it caps out significantly lower. So I asked him to reach out to you
Yeah.
and discuss that as it.
More than happy to discuss, just ask him to reach out to me, and happy to discuss, happy to look at the ordinance with our fine solicitor and figure out what we can do. All right, so I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
So we can announce the next meeting. Oh, it's March, not, I don't know if I changed it.
Sorry, so our next finance meeting is scheduled for,
17th March.
March.
on the agenda, it says
February.
17th February.
Yeah, I didn't change it.
Our next finance meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 19th, 2026. 17th, Tuesday, March 17th, 2026 at 6:30 PM. All right, make a motion to adjourn.
Adjourned.
That's it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's over. Fast, quick.